Coming to you straight from the Rio Grande and beyond. Broadcasting to the four corners of the globe. So grab your seat, your coffee, or your sundowner.
Okay, everybody, here we go.
On point, as always. This is Gloves Off. Gloves Off.
So when I was working on Selena, the series for Netflix, to play the role of Abraham Quintanilla, I put on a specific amount of weight, which I was fine doing, but also realizing it could be difficult to get that weight off. I got back into my physical regimen with James Leja, but I was still having trouble with just those last amounts. And that's when I got to meet Arturo from Laredo Medical Weight Loss Clinic. And just the products that he gave me kind of put me over the edge. I feel great about myself.
Hi, I'm Don McLaughlin. I'm a candidate for House District 80, which consists of Webb County, Uvalde County, Dimmitt County, Zavala County, Frio County, and Atascosa County. I'm also a small businessman, and I know what it takes to run a small business. And for too long, we've had too much government regulation coming into our small business and making it tougher and tougher for us to survive and get by. And that's one of the things I hope to change. Small business is the backbone of the state of Texas, and we need to make sure it thrives and that they have the support they need in government and less government regulation.
We're back at you in Gloves Off, and today I got a guest that is running for UISD board, and we're going to hear about her story and all the good stuff.
Yes, hi. Thank you for having me here today.
No, thank you for running. Listen, everybody that runs, I tell them this: thank you for standing up. It takes guts, it takes hard work to run a campaign, regardless whether it's school, city, what have you. Mm-hmm. But we've spoke before, and it doesn't surprise me because a lot of people that have issues that become activists, a good majority run because they want to fix things. So I want to hear your side of why you're running.
Well, I'm running because I'm a parent of UISD. I have 3 children, 2 in elementary school and 1 in middle school. I was a product of UISD as well. I graduated from Alexander High School. My grandmother was a cafeteria worker. So to me, UISD is very close to my heart. And I'm living and I'm facing the struggles that current parents face. Not only that, but I have some of my bestest friends are teachers, are counselors in the district. So I hear their struggles. I hear the issues that they're currently facing. And as a parent, you get to see firsthand the problems that other parents face or that even you face. For example, the bus transportation. That's why I was here last time with you talking about that of when UISD decided to remove transportation services for students who were not living within the 2-mile radius. I don't know if you remember that. That's how I became involved. My son wasn't affected by it, but his friends had to walk from the old United High School, which is now Elias, all the way up to Shiloh in extreme temperatures, and so thankfully, because of our activism and our involvement, going to the board, they did provide service shuttles, which are still going on this year. They have 2 service shuttles that take kids that live around the Malakoff and Borchers area to Elias. But it's been a year later and still no permanent solution has been found. Now, that's one of the things that if elected, right, I want to go ahead and implement a hazard plan, because we know that the state can reimburse school districts if they adopt a safety hazard plan, which Shiloh and International back in the day was already designated as hazard. So why are we regressing? Why not move forward? There were other schools in the South that were also affected by it. Now, why did the North cause so much noise? Well, because again, you have to look, and this is, sociology, right, as we speak. The economically advantaged, the economically disadvantaged, right? A lot of the economically disadvantaged population, they work, 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 work. So they really have no time to be involved and to go to the schools, right, and to fight for something. So what do? Okay, that's fine, I'm gonna have to deal with it. When no, in reality, there are laws that protect you, and there are ways to do it the right way. So that's one of the main reasons why I'm running, because I see that currently the board, the member that we have in our district for District 7 doesn't really stand up, doesn't really do much. Yes, he listens, but he doesn't act.
Okay. My kids are products. I was a product as well of UISD. My children are as well. You know, they went to Catholic schools in elementary and high school. They went to UISD. I've seen a difference in attitude. I've seen it a lack, kind of like a blame the parent type attitude from that comes out of the school. It's a parent's fault, and if the parents are divorced, it's the father's fault. It's a deadbeat father. It's not the case. I've seen it, experienced it, and so you look at things and you look at what's going on and how it is, and every day here, as you can see where we're in, for the longest time, I've taught people how to defend themselves, and a lot of the kids that come through here are because there's issues with bullying. I brought bullying out. We made a program back in '94 in Irving called Bully Proofing Your Kid or Your Child. And it was taken forth because of that issue. So when I moved back here in 2000, none of the school superintendents wanted to do anything about it. I told them it's going to bite you in the rear end. And sure enough, it did. And I also told them you're going to have a gang problem. And the only person that was in that room that agreed was Judge Pepe Salinas, that we were going to have a gang issue problem here. And we have the gang problem now. And it just took that time, you know, to hit all the rest of the metroplexes. So that's always been. Every day, I'll get a parent call me about issues that occur in schools. Mostly some from the UISD area, so that's where basically I'm from. But we also get it from LISD. And their concern is the non-caring attitude of a child being bullied. They do all these bully scenarios or what have you, or we protect and we photo up here and they bring the children and do everything else. But when something really happens, they kind of just, they could care less, you know? And eventually, when you pick on somebody, that person's going to retaliate. It's going to get tired. It's a large percentage. And they're going to stand up, and one day they're going to strike back. And what happens is, some of these kids have stricken back in an ugly form, and we've had some of the issues, like Columbine, downward to Uvalde.
Yeah.
And that's the most aggressive, radical thing that occurs. But the most things happen is the person's being bullied, the kid's gonna turn around and hit him, push the bully back. And usually the child that defends themselves is the child that gets punished. And they'll throw the book at that child that's defending himself. I've seen with my own eyes, through the police there, I've seen the non-care of civil rights, both of adults and of kids. And it's kind of like, you don't have any, yes you do. And it's something that last year we brought forth, we ended up finding out that there was the phrase called school to prison pipeline. And we did a study, and United was pretty bad. So we joined, we had several meetings, and some of the local activists came in. We brought down the major foundation and talked with everybody. There's a recognition that it is there. But no, right now everybody cannot pinpoint the thing because you can't actually find what it is. It's just that it's occurring. Where is the problem? And that's what I told them. It goes, because once we find the actual problem, there's a solution. You know, we can draft up solutions. I think we have capable individuals. I see your frustration. I see the frustration of many. The lack of trust, I see it in many. The lack of confidence, I see it in many. And it's sad. It's sad. But tell me, what else will bring forth? Because to go to become a school board, it's a feat. Yes.
Yes, it's a lot. You do have to sacrifice a lot, you know, but again, I'm doing it because I've lived through experience. And I'm glad that you brought up the bullying because one of my children, you know, was actually a victim of bullying, a victim of cyberbullying. Nowadays, the phone, right? It could be a tool, but it could also be a weapon. And so I'm going to share something, you know, very personal because it was really such a difficult time for me and for my child. Mind you, I had been very involved, right? Going to the board meetings throughout the year. Yes, bullying occurs, you know, okay, oh, he called me this or she called me this. And, you know, you really have to, I'm a firm believer that, yes, you know, it starts at home. You have to teach your kids, right? But also the school and the counselor, it's a work. Right? It's a team. It's a team. The teachers, we have to work together. It takes a village, right? So my son was actually a victim of cyberbullying, where they took a picture of him and it circulated through social media. His friends, nobody reported it. 2 weeks later, he comes to find out, you know, everybody already has the picture. It was not a nice picture. And so, you know, I go to the school. Mind you, we have this relationship where I've always told him, anything, you come to me. Don't be afraid. You mess up, you come to me and we'll get through it. But you have to take responsibility for what you did. Now, if something happened to you, that somebody's doing something to you, again, you come and you tell me because I'm going to be your advocate for you. I always tell them it's like I'm your lawyer. I'm your mom, but I'm also going to be your lawyer when you get in trouble or when somebody does something to you. So all of my 3 kids have that. So something happens, they come and they tell me. And I wish that every parent could have that open line of communication. Now, that situation occurred. He calls me, he tells me as a parent, me back in the day, right, thinking, oh, they probably wrote something in the restroom. Come to find you, it's a picture. It's a picture and of him in the restroom. And so not only does it attack their, you know, their self-esteem, their, you know, it's something very personal, right? And for your friends to not even tell you, but to be making fun of you, I mean, that's a whole nother, you know, layer on the cake. We went to the school, filed a report. I emailed, Becky Morales was included in that email because she was the associate superintendent. She was taking over, you know how they fired Gonzalez. And so I emailed her, I emailed Dolores Barrera, I emailed counseling, I CC'd everybody in admin. Asked me if anybody replied to my email. Nobody. Nobody replied. My son was having to go to school, being called things in the hallway. My son was going to the restroom, crying because he couldn't take it. My son loves football.
How old was your son?
He was 11, in 6th grade. I get an email from the teachers, oh, your child has dropped his grades, any missing assignments, missing, la la. I'm like, okay, I email the teacher back. You do know that this and this is going on. I appreciate you telling me, but, oh, I wasn't aware of it. How are you not aware of it if I asked for administration to inform the teachers in case they see something to report it, you know? And so there you see the lack of, right? They promote anti-bullying and but in reality, they're not. And so what also pushed me to run was that they know how active I am. And so not only that, but then one of the kids that was bullying my son gets inducted into honor society that same week. What are you telling me there? You're not doing anything. You're rewarding the bully. Yes, they're kids. I understand. They're kids. Everybody makes mistakes. But we have to hold them accountable at a very young age, because if not, then it becomes a repetitive behavior. Why? Because I got away with it once, I'm probably going to get away with it again. So is it because they want to cover it up and they want to seem like bullying doesn't exist? I don't know. But if they did this to me, who I'm very outspoken, I can only imagine what they do to the parents that are either afraid to speak up, don't know the law, don't know their rights, or just simply believe in the system that they'll take care of it. But they don't. You have to really be there. Now, thankfully, my son has a very good support system, and we're very blessed, right? Economically, we right away intervene outside counseling. You know what? You love football. Let's get him a private mentor. A lot of mental work, right? Mental work, self-esteem building. But not everybody has that. Not everybody has that. And a lot of the parents confide in the school system that there's counselors, there's counseling. But a lot of parents don't know that the counselors at school, they're only academic counselors. If your child is a cutter or has suicidal ideations or anything else, they don't treat them at school. They have
Scan or somebody else.
they have a scan, Texas Communities, CAPS, and they even now, through a grant, I believe, they had 4 counselors, licensed psychologists. One counselor, licensed psychologist, designated for each high school feeder. So you're talking about, let's just say Alexander. Alexander has that one licensed psychologist that treats the kids from Alexander, the United Middle School kids, and all the elementary feeders. So you're talking about one psychologist dealing with a caseload of over 30 kids. How is that really helping our children? And that's one of the things on my platform, is that I really want to ensure that our mental health resources are being used adequately, and that we're working together with outside resources to ensure that our kids are being treated. Communication, again, working together, because it takes a village. And from what I've experienced, there's no help.
Well, I've seen that and I experienced that. And I tell parents this, and bullying is my pet peeve. And I'll debate anybody on the board and any teacher, anything. Plain and simple. Okay? And we were doing an issue. I talked to you the first time I heard about cyberbullying. Back 2008, 2009, 2007, around that time frame, there was a rapist in Laredo, the North Side rapist, they called it. Apparently, he raped anywhere between 24 to 27 women within a short period of span. I never caught him. So we have always had self-defense for women free. And we used to have it every second Sunday of the month for years, since 2001. I've stopped since COVID. I've stopped that, but we'll get back into gear this year. I remember the guardian angels. I don't know if you know who they are. The ones that wear red beret and walk around in New York. Well, Curtis Silua, the founder of the Guardian Angels, and the Guardian Angels came down because of that. And we had a seminar where people of the district attorney, the sheriffs, some school counselors went in there, and we were talking to everybody, and he brought out that word. Now we have cyberbullying, something that didn't exist. There was a lot of smirks, especially from the educational department. The other ones were just, the district attorney was paying attention to what's going on. And goes, that's something that, but now we have workplace bullying, now that's labeled. But bullying is a separate issue. I tell people this, the only way you can stop a bully is with a right cross in the mouth. Okay? That's the only way you can stop it. But people, it takes that one person to do that. I'm not condoning fighting, but I'm also not condoning being a coward.
Yep.
Now, the biggest lie that exists in any school district is we protect your child from bullies. That's the biggest falsity that there is. I rather believe in the tooth fairy than believe in what they're doing there. Okay? I remember in LISD a couple of years back, they brought this wear a blue, because everybody around the nation, you wear a blue shirt if you're bully protecting your friend. If you tell on somebody, becoming a snitch, tell on somebody that's bullying on somebody else, you get a blue shirt from the school district and you can wear around. Well, this kid did that. Guess what happened in one of these schools? On the way to home, they beat him up to a pulp.
I believe you.
Okay, so remember the word, snitches get stitches.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that exists.
Yes.
Because we live in a society where kids still have to walk home.
Exactly.
Okay? Last year, there was an incident in the UISD where a kid was dropped off and child being bullied all throughout. Gets off the school bus, walks down the street, and the bully picks on him. Kid turns around and smacks him. It's going to happen.
It's going to happen, yeah.
It's going to happen. And if it doesn't happen in grade school, happen in middle school. If it doesn't happen in middle school, it's going to happen in high school. Or it's going to happen when you're out at a bar at 20 years old and you end up seeing that bully that was bullying something. It's going to happen. It's inevitable. That's life. And people say, no, it doesn't happen. Yes, it happens. It happens every weekend.
It happens.
So what happens is this child got tired and hit the bully. Away from school grounds. They arrest him.
Who arrested him?
The next day, UISD police officer.
Well, you know
what I'm saying?
Okay,
So now, wait a minute. It's happened outside your own. You okay? These individuals, I'm for police. I'm not this band police or whatever they want to call it. But we have to bring back the sheriff's department to have sheriff officers in all school districts and dissolve these school district police departments. They've gotten out of hand. Okay? They violate not only the civil rights of kids, of adults, let's bring back the sheriff's department because they are the highest law enforcement entity in the county and have them have a contract to protect the schools. Okay? Then half what's going on here. It's another incident. Kids got in a fight at the mall on a Saturday. Go back to school and they get arrested by the school district police. No, this fight occurred outside school grounds.
And that's crazy that you tell me because, when the issue of the cyberbullying happened with my son, and I'm laughing because I'm, remembering, what they told me? You have to call LPD because since this happened outside of school, we don't have any jurisdiction. And I'm talking about the kid who got inducted into Honor Society, right? Because again, my son was called a snitch because he told his mom. And so nothing happened because they call him a bad word. And what does my son do? Understand that it's illegal what you did. Because my son knows a lot about the law as well. Who gets reprimanded?
But I'm telling you.
My son,
yeah,
right?
Yeah,
because he defended himself. He didn't get reprimanded at school, but they made him feel like he did something wrong. And so it's crazy that you tell me that because they really, UISD told me we can't do anything because it happened on a weekend under parent supervision. So you have to call LPD. What does LPD tell me? No, you have to call UISD because it happened to an incident related to in school. So it's like a throwing of the ball to each other and who's really going to be held accountable. Now, I do want to say that, it happened in May. School was already going to be over. Things did get taken care of because I was there making sure. And do want to say, like I tell my son, there's always light at the end of the tunnel, right? And people make mistakes, and that's fine. And we can never judge a book by its cover, right? Because maybe there's other issues, and I tell my kids, maybe there's other issues going at home that's why these kids do these things, right? But my son is now, he's good. It's crazy because now, he talks to these kids. They've, made amends. And so I tell him, it's your thing, and he did tell me, Mom, I even yesterday we were talking about it, and he's like, maybe I just want to drop everything because I'm fine and we're fine. And I'm like, okay, well, that's your choice. I'm not going to push you. If you feel like you're okay and you're, it's your life and something that happened to you, I'm not going to force you to, do this and that. But I do have to say that, that now, thank goodness, he's in a great mental health state. He actually, we're in the legal process of doing a nonprofit that he named Every Kid Matters. And so he's actually going to have a first anti-bullying self-empowerment football camp for kids who have been bullied, because he says, Mom, football and the coach Patrick, if he sees this, helped him a lot throughout the summer. So my son says, I want other kids to feel that and to know that they are important and that it doesn't matter what happens to them. And they're going to interview him for the news station, and he was practicing the other day with me, and I almost just, wow, because he said, I asked him, well, what if they tell you, what message do you have for victims? And his words were, don't be afraid, because the bullies are just jealous of you and they want your happiness that they don't have. And I'm just like, wow, and if only the district would really give these kids the opportunity.
I say this. The bullying starts, and I've seen a lot of teachers in school districts bully the kids, coaches, and no sabes hacer esto, and they got them and they got them, and every coach continues, and there's a difference between mirth and actual insults, and you have to understand that. I grew up with that. People, call you this or call you that, or if we lived in Louisville, Kentucky, you were alien, Mexican, or what have you, and all kinds of. So you had to understand where you were at. Okay, you were in France, you were American. They were going to discriminate you, and so on and so forth. So you had to stand up. Okay, a lot of people don't remember here. At the time frame where we were growing up, we can go to Mexico and back. In Mexico, they'll insult the ones who are Tejanos from here, and so there's always that prejudice, that envy, that insult that you have to understand how to grow with. Okay, you have to have a light, thick skin.
Tough skin. Yes.
You can't be light skinned in the sense of, see why everything hurts me.
No,
you have to be thick skinned, and you have to be able to dish it back.
Exactly, and bullying happens everywhere, and that's what I tell my kids. You even when you're an adult, you have people that are bullying you. I mean, look at what's going on right now with UISD. With the whole new policy of now that they have a designated area assigned for people. Because why? Because people were going up there and giving constructive criticism and bringing up to light issues that are happening, because as a taxpayer, as parents, that's our every right to go up there and give our public comment for those 3 minutes. And what happens? The UISD is bullying these individuals by designating an area to record during board meetings, and now not being allowed to go into, for example, buildings like the transportation, the police department to record. They're receiving letters of disruptive behavior. Alisa Flores is claiming that, they've gone up there and gone into their faces. That has never happened. I've been at board meetings. If anything, yes, they've zoomed in on their faces with the phone, because I've been one to do it, or, but because when you're there and that's bullying, you're there giving your 3 public comment, what do? they're not looking at you. They're on their phone, rolling their eyes with a face. One here and there, maybe, yes. Right away, 3 minutes are over. Hey, we make the sacrifice to go. It takes a lot for people to go up there and to really express what they're feeling, what they feel is right, what they feel is wrong. And for them to be doing that to them, that's bullying. They're bullying them, you know?
I know the whole board on a personal basis. The only one I don't know that personal is Veli's. His father and I were very good friends. Okay, we were excellent men, and we were very good friends for a long time. And I don't think this is what my observation is of the whole UISD. You have the board, and you have the superintendent here, with all these directors, and then you have the employees and what have you.
Mm-hmm.
The miscommunication from them to what's going down here it's gone. It's not even there.
Okay.
Okay, and there's parents that like you said send emails. Those emails never went beyond the principal, never went beyond the principal on up. Okay, so all of a sudden the parent shows up to a board meeting. Oh, I've been sending this and this and never happened. And they're like, so they asked the superintendent asked the director, but we've never seen anything. Let's find out. Oh, the parent's just disgruntled. And they'll name you and they start with a little cliquish bullying.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden it gets up to the board. Oh, here they come again.
Here comes the crazy lady.
Here they come again. And you're like, wait a minute, but you didn't hear about that? They don't care about anything.
Yeah, they don't.
So there has to be a protocol. There has to be a protocol. And I tell this to everybody. Your kid's being bullied, you have a situation. Email the teacher,
Yes.
email the principal immediately. That happen again, email the teacher, principal, and the superintendent. Happens again, you email all those four, and including the president of the board. That's it. And you continue for you to have a paper trail. If you do not have a paper trail, these people here, they could care less.
No, they're not.
So I'm telling you, I had emails in my hand and text, not only emails, screenshots of social media where this guy that was going to United said that he was going to rape other people in United, and they all sat with their thumbs in their hands on their butt, and they didn't do diddly squat. Everybody was just sitting down, and all of them knew about it except Bellies. And the ex-superintendent knew about it. We even sent them to the lawyers. Nobody did anything because this guy said that as he had done it before. Imagine. So now you have a guy that is admitting that he was sexually doing things to people there. Already graduated and is in society. Okay? So now you have a problem. Another little ditty boy. Okay? Understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
So parents, I suggest this, talk to your children, talk to them. And then another thing, if your child is 15 years old, 12 years old, and it's on Facebook, TikTok, and all this social media, get them off of it. Why? Because it says there, adult entertainment only. How can these kids be on there? Understand? And that's period. So
And
number one,
that's
it's your
Snapchat.
fault.
Yeah, that's Snapchat. They get a message and then it disappears, and it's a nightmare. And so, going back to that, that's also why I'm running, is because, yes, like you said, you have the board members, the superintendent, and the employees, right? We do know that, when during the board meetings, right, board members are not allowed to have a back and forth with constituents. We know that, right? You're there supposed to listen to our concern and whatnot, but after that, you are the advocate. I mean, that's why you were voted in office, because you're there to serve the public. And now the board governs the district. Now they oversee. That's why you run for board and you get elected for board, to oversee and ensure that the daily operations of the district are running smoothly, benefiting the students and teachers and staff. That's the role of a board member, to do that. Now, there have been several public comments, right, that people have gone to the board meetings to shed light to issues that are going on. And what does the board do? No. One instance was with a travel reimbursement or travel expenses for the board members. Ms. Alisa Flores literally called out the lady, Ms. Juarez, who went to go speak. She accused her of lying. Why? Accept the constructive criticism. You know what? A good board member would say, hey, let's look into that. What happened here? Now, you go into the legal side of it. In January, and I'm just throwing out in January, the beginning of the school year, the district spent $97,000 in with Trauman and Garcia law firm. $97,000, okay, in January. Then they have a separate monthly disbursement of another 30 grand for another law firm. Now, I've been going to the board meetings and, you know, they have an agenda and, okay, agenda item A, monthly disbursement, approve. I mean, as a board member, you're overseeing. So to me, that would be a red flag. Hey, why are we spending so much money in this law firm? You know, superintendent, can you help? You know, can you see what's going on? Now the superintendent, you know, as the scale, right? Okay, let me see what's going on. Is it maybe there's too many employee grievances? Is it maybe, you know, try to find the root of the problem, like you said. And the board members that are sitting right now have really forgotten about that. And it's really time, you know, that the people go out and vote. Go out and vote and really become involved, because school districts are just as important as city council races, state rep races,
and much more.
And much more, exactly.
Because here UISD has more employees in the city of Laredo.
Exactly,
and,
yes.
And maybe even more than Webb County. Well, it has to for sure. But here's where I'm at with the legal. Okay? There's a lot of talk on why do we need to get outsourced legal counsel. Well, one's the taxes. Mm-hmm. Okay? We have a company that has the taxes, but we have to stipulate on all contracts that go out to these lawyer firms, right? Mm-hmm. Of what their duty is.
Exactly.
If we're using just the taxing firm to collect taxes and to see everything, I think we can do without and have an in-house attorney that deals with our taxing department to do those things. Okay? I think we can save a lot of money that way. And nothing wrong against the people there. I'm just saying how we can fix budgets, right? But you have a lot of things going on, and it's a complex entity of the school board. Okay, you have a lot of real estate that is on. Mm-hmm. You have a police department that is there. You have a student body. You have an administrative body. You have an educational code. And then you, apart from that, you also have open minutes and a lot of federal guidelines and laws and acts like FERPA and a bunch of other stuff that goes in there. When we hire a law firm from out, who are they representing?
Exactly.
Are they representing the student body? Are they representing the board? Are they representing the administrative body, the teachers, the taxpayers? Who are they representing? What is their role? Because if they go into, oh, we're just going to hire them and they can do whatever they want, then there's a lot of conflicts of interest. There's a couple of cases right now that are going to hit Supreme Courts. And they haven't become case law because they're still in appeals and going back and forth, that we have to understand the complexity of it. Should we hire an in-house attorney for the student, for the teacher, for the, you know what I'm saying, for each different entity that's there? Is that what we need to do? Would it be cheaper than spending this? I don't know. Okay, so I haven't seen those contracts. I don't know. I'm just telling you what it is over here. Now, if I was an attorney and I had a law firm and I wanted a taxing contract, I'll be putting my money on candidates to make sure that they vote me in. Okay? And if I was a law firm that wanted a contract because of people, employee benefits and everything else, I would be doing, hey, that's business.
It's business, and that's what's happening, you know. But my issue with that, and yes, I'm all for that too, you know. Let's figure out. Okay, we keep hearing, right? We keep hearing administrators, Ms. Morales, say, do more with less to our teachers, to our principals, to our coaches. Those people that are in the front lines, they're having to do more things with less money. Okay, so now let's work together and see, okay, why are we spending so much in legal? Like you said, would it be more effective to hire just, I know that there's a law firm that just specifically deals with taxes, and by law they can only charge a percentage. That's by law, right? Now, but we need to really find out who is representing us, because during the board meetings we go there and you see Mr. Trauman, and I have
You're
nothing.
talking about us, the parents,
The
or
parents,
us,
the parents, the
tax-
students, the
or
taxpayers, yes.
Okay.
So you go to the board meetings, and I have nothing against them, nothing personal, nothing personal. I'm only criticizing their work, right? You go to the board meetings, and right away, Mr. Trauman, you know, throws out a Texas code and defending the board members. Okay, but what about us? Like you said, who's defending us? Would it be better to, like you said, stipulate, okay, this attorney, let's do in-house legal, let's analyze what's cheaper, because hey, our teachers and our principals are having to do more with less, and at the end of the day, they are the ones who are in charge of our children's education and are in charge for our children to become the future leaders of our community. So hey guys, why don't let's see how we can cut over here and bring back the money to the schools.
Let me show you an example. Let's say, and I have nothing against this law firm that's representing the school, okay? I'm just gonna say about business-wise and understanding budget and having individuals that are passive-aggressive individuals. You have a lot of those in these departments. You send a letter of open records for, you know what, I want to find out how many butterflies flew into the cafeteria room this day, okay? You send it in there, by 14 days they're supposed to send you back, well, 15 butterflies entered the building, okay? But all of a sudden, it goes to the PR department, and the PR department sends a letter saying, I'm not going to send you that information.
Mm-hmm. It's happened to me.
Okay, and then all of a sudden, they send it to the lawyer. Now the lawyer says, you know what, it's going to be a $500 charge for a letter that would have taken you 10 cents to print and 15 minutes of your time to say 10 butterflies flew into the cafeteria, which is, okay? So now they've taken that $500 charge. They send you a letter back. It's already a $500 charge. And you send back and they go, but I really want to find out. And you send them back over there. So they send a letter to the Texas Attorney General. And the Attorney General, that letter costs another $500. So instead of 15 minutes and 10 cents of a piece of paper that you could have, maybe $1 you would have spent on the whole thing to invoice you or even email you the amount of butterflies that went into the classroom. Now it's $1,500, $2,000, $3,000 just on that one little thing that could have been by a passive-aggressive individual that's very narcissistic, that's sitting there in the front desk saying, I can do whatever I want because this is who I am, because she's following the clique. You know what? Sometimes some of these cliquish members, they have to be fired. You know, toodaloo, go work at McDonald's. And some of these other individuals that are out there, this is my solution to this. Very simple. Term limits. What do you mean term limits? You want 2 term limits of 4 years? No. 1 term limit of 4 years.
Yeah.
And now you go. Let somebody else come in.
You can do a
Okay.
lot in 4 years.
You can do a lot in 4 years.
And
If you need another 4 years to figure out what else you do, you're out.
Yeah.
Term limits. But right now, whether I tell you, and just like I told Mr. Castillo, whether you win or whether you lose, right now the state has to come in and take control.
Yes.
Period.
Period. There's a lot of things that are going
Period.
on right now.
They have to come back inside here and put the reins on and they start steering this correctly. And I'm not saying that they're doing something nefarious, but it's all this blocking and, oh, que pa pasar, all this, let's step on eggshells. I'm not stepping eggshells here, but let's step on eggshells over here. Let's treat this person. Enough of that. Let's just do it right.
Yeah, let's do it right. And like you said, you said something, very key that, it's a business. Yeah, it's a business, but we are entrusting our children to you. So in reality, really, I mean, you shouldn't see it as a business. You shouldn't, because as parents, I mean, I could have my kids in private school, but I pay a lot of taxes. So I trust. I went through the public system. So why not have my children through the public system?
Safety, that's what I do. Okay? Not only do I teach people how to be safe, how to defend themselves, I can teach others to do the same thing. I've taught a lot of police departments, not only here in the States, in other countries as well. Okay? And when you look at the stuff there, my opinion, pretty shabby work that we're getting. And on a scale from 1 to 10 on safety wise and how they're doing and how they're treated, they get a 0.5 in my scale. I'm gonna say, Paul, who are you? You're not a police officer. I'm the one with the band, blah, blah, blah. Listen, I fear for our kids that go to our schools, and especially more so from middle school on up. Oh. And all the bad things that we hear about, bad badges, can occur instantly in that school district. They don't like you, they'll plant something on your kid. Now your kid's facing juvenile. I do not pass that by them. Okay? I'm very objective and I'm very pro badge. But right now I'm very pro good badge.
And there are good officers. No, yeah, there are.
But what happens is right now we need school term limit. We need to remove the school district police, put it back into the hands of the sheriff. We saw what happened in Uvalde. We saw what happened here in Alexander. Everybody else was there. It was just a mess up. Another, God forbid something terrible happens. God forbid. We need a centralized police that's going to manage and proceed with protecting them. And now everybody spends money on active shooters. I mean, I have friends of mine that are making a killing in active shooters all over the place. Mm-hmm. But that's where we're at. But on another note, I'm going to tell you this and I'll tell everything else. Thanks again for standing up. Keep on doing what you're doing. Elections around the corner. And folks, we're just talking. You all need to sit down. The board needs to sit down. And they need to understand what it is and not put enemies and start naming people and going after people on a personal basis.
Or targeting, as disgruntled, as crazy, and that's one of the reasons why I'm running too, because, there needs to be a transparency, right? And accountability. Now, transparency in the sense of the finances, yes, our board members need to start asking questions because they can question the daily operations of the district. Now, can they go and tell the superintendent or can they go and tell the teacher, this is how you do it? No, they can't, right? But they govern, they oversee. There are watchdogs. And truly right now, nobody's watching for the best interest of us parents, of our students, and taxpayers. They're clearly not. Now, good thing that you brought the Alexander thing, total fiasco there in the sense of the parent communication. Why do parents listen to rumors? Mr. Castillo was here saying that parents listen to rumors. Well, let me tell you why. Because UISD doesn't do an effective job in handling the situation when it's happening. Perfect example, United High School, there was a bomb threat, okay? Parents, I have friends that are reporters. Parents were calling the news stations, asking what's happening, what's going on. A parent even emailed several media outlets a timeline of like, I got a text here, this. The media was asking UISD PR department, hey, what's going on? We need an update. Nothing, it's fake, nothing. Well, then that's why rumors start happening. So now that is another thing that if I get elected, right, we need to really strategize and see. Yes, there's a designated area. If God forbid something happens, right? The reconciliation. Do parents know that? I don't know. If a shooting happens at my daughter's school, which is San Isidro, I don't know where I'm supposed to go and meet up with my kids. I don't know that. Who am I going to call? The news station? Who am I going to tune into? La Gordiloca? You know what I mean? Like, again, UISD needs to do a better job. And it's going back to targeting the parents. Now you're targeting the parents as chismosos and listening to rumors? No, it's just we are entrusting our children to you because we're confiding in that they have that vision, of united we stand. And truthfully, in this last year that I've been involved, I have seen nothing but the opposite. And so that's why I'm running. And I've had teachers contact me, counselors, security guards, custodians, bus drivers, parents through the summer that had issues with bullying. What do I do? Guide me, this and that. And so I said, you know what? It's obvious that our board member is maybe not doing enough, or maybe they feel like they can't trust him enough. So hey, I'm gonna run and let's see. And I ask for those people, who I've helped, who I've guided, for the teachers who I know will watch this and who are tired, because I keep hearing we're tired. Why did the police officers get an increase? Which we're not against the police officers getting an increase, but hey, if you're gonna give an increase, give it fair. Give it fair. Now, why does KGNS, and because UISD sent out the communication, why did they alert or advise that there was a one-time salary, right, to our teachers? No, it wasn't. It was a bonus. But okay, you're advertising that. Why didn't you advertise that $6,000 bonus that you gave to the police officers?
Was it a bonus or was it a salary
It
increase?
was a salary increase. It was a salary increase. So you see what I'm saying? Where's the fairness there? Now,
Like I'm telling you.
A lot of teachers are upset. I mean, they're mad.
Our taxes, it's the highest taxing entity here.
46% of our dollar.
Okay, and it's like going out and the best Japanese restaurant. I keep saying this over and over, and you're gonna expect something out there, to try and gas station sushi. Ay, parale. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're getting. I am right now. I'm glad my kids no longer go there. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad my kids no longer
even
go there.
contemplated,
And to make the sense worth, we have good teachers. Don't get me wrong. It's everything else that goes with it. It's a retaliation within side against people, against parents, against the kids of parents that say, you know what, I'm going to stand up against this. It's that constant pointing the finger like if we're the evil ones. No, you know what? The solution right now, the state steps in, or we get one term limit per board member, and out you go. And I think the safest thing we can do, hopefully legislation, will put it back to the sheriff's department taking care of the school districts, and remove those police departments out of the way, because we saw what happened in Uvalde. We saw what happened here and it's just
it's a mess. Yeah, it's a mess.
They can say whatever they want. They can say Paul's this, Paul's that, but you know what? I'm at 220 West Hillside Road. You want to come over anytime. And we'll leave you with this. guys, you all stay safe, be safe, and God bless you. And I used to say, go out and vote, but this time, parents, you need to stand up for your kids. You have to listen to them, you have to stand up for them. And if kids are getting bullied or coerced into doing something they're not supposed to do in school, and they're telling you, better stand up. And if it's happening on the outside, on the internet, go to the Laredo Police Department, file the report, because I trust them. You need to go forward with that. Folks, if you want to get a hold of Dianelle Martinez, where can they get a hold of you?
They can call me. My number is 956-290-5128, or look me up on Facebook, Dianelle Martinez.
Okay, but she'll be in this year's
District
election.
7, yes.
So District 7.
Yes.
Okay, until next time, much peace.
Thank you.
Have you ever wondered about what happens in a martial arts studio? Well, you start right away by setting goals, building determination, gaining focus, building skills, all while becoming more fit, gaining confidence, and learning self-defense. Buitron Academy is a school where attitude meets aptitude. So give us a call at 956-401-4868.